Today, we are happy to be talking with Silvan Jongerius, Managing Partner of TechGDPR and a member of INATBA. Silvan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, John.
All right, first, tell us a little bit about your company or organization and the work you all are doing in the blockchain ecosystem.
Sure. So TechGDPR is a small boutique consultancy where we help deep tech companies, and actually many of them are blockchain companies, with their privacy challenges and also with GDPR compliance. So basically compliance to the General Data Protection Regulation, which is in effect in Europe in all member states.
Great. So what do you think, Silvan, is the biggest obstacle to widespread mainstream adoption of blockchain and DLT technologies around the world?
Well, from my perspective, there are a few things. So one of them is for corporations to give away control, right? So blockchain really builds on this idea of decentralizing control, giving your partners control as well. And for many organizations, that is a bit of a challenge. Gatekeeping information is lucrative from that perspective. So not wanting to share data, for example, or not being transparent about it is one of the obstacles there. But of course, there's also the element of trust. Do you trust the partners that you're working with? It's said that blockchain is a trustless environment, but actually there's certainly some trust involved that needs to go back and forth between these organizations collaborating. And then there's also regulation. Because it's a fairly new technology, regulation is still evolving, and also the technology is still evolving, and therefore the regulation is trying to keep up with that. So making sure that the regulation is adequate is still one of the challenges that we have, and possibly not having this limitation or this regulation in place yet is one of the obstacles that we have right now.
And so what else specifically should the blockchain ecosystem, by that I mean commercial entities, governments, and academics, do to help address and overcome these obstacles?
Well, I would say building better understanding of the opportunities that blockchain offers. So see the positive side of it, not only see the limitations and the obstacles there are, but also look at the understanding the opportunities. I think for regulators specifically, it's also to provide better guidance, take technology into account when drafting new guidance, provide a better framework conditions for the usage of this technology. For example, when founding a company, for example, any concept around decentralized control or DAOs, for example, is not really taken into account. So how can you control a company in a decentralized way? That is something that regulators haven't figured out yet. And I think that is something that would certainly help this industry.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And where do you see the worldwide industry in, say, 10 years, the blockchain industry?
That's, of course, a guess for everyone, right? But I'm guessing that at the speed of innovation right now, we'll certainly see that new generations of blockchain technology will emerge. We see solutions to certain technical challenges, such as scalability, governance as well. And also next to better technology, I would certainly hope for increased adoption in 10 years as well. Companies being more willing to put this technology to a test, and perhaps in 10 years already have some implementations, or already perhaps just have some implementations there, right? And from my perspective, working in the privacy field, I would also hope that we find solutions that take privacy seriously, right? So that we build better privacy products for the users, and basically enable this more privacy-friendly surrounding, if you will.
Yeah. Well, a little bit closer to modern day, what use cases are you most excited about coming online in the next year or two?
Right. So I think many of the use cases that I've seen have been around, or experiments have been happening already, proof of concept, etc. But I'm mostly excited about anything related to decentralized identity, for example, enabling privacy-friendly identity solutions that don't necessarily need this middleman, but where you can prove basically peer-to-peer, like who you are. I think that is absolutely something very interesting. The other thing is around financial transactions, removing the middleman again, and basically enabling the underprivileged to transact in a global economy. These are the things that personally motivate me the most.
Great. And are there any blockchain projects that you are working on that you think will improve the systems and services that face the challenges today?
Well, as a consultant, we're working on many different projects, basically helping our customers to with the privacy and compliance aspects there. So from that perspective as well, I see that for example, projects in verifiable credentials or decentralized identity, but also with cryptocurrencies and payments, basically I really see that if that makes a big step forward, that we can take the whole industry forward, or the whole global ecosystem. So these are very important there. It can have a huge impact on the adoption of the technology in the end, if we design this in a proper way.
Right.
So yeah.
Great. Okay. And finally, my last question: what role do you see INATBA playing in the global blockchain ecosystem?
Right. So I think that INATBA is a very important connector of the stakeholders in this area. So under the membership, there are large organizations, there are startups, there are consultancies, there's everything there, right? And I really feel that this industry needs to be connected, and that these stakeholders need to be involved in the discussion, if it's about regulation, for example, if it's about the evolvement of standards of the technology. So what I've been doing, for example, by initiating and at the moment also co-chairing the privacy working group, I see that there's a lot of interest of these different stakeholders to unite, to get together and to work on that together.
Great. Great. Thank you so much, Silvan. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Pleasure speaking to you.